All members of the Astro Intelligence and Defense Service must follow these 3 rules. 1. No violence unless the Earth is in danger. 2. Derricks don't run. And 3. Discuss Peter Jackson's bad taste on B-Movie Mania!
Welcome to the crossroads of camp, the bastion of the bizarre, the place where low budgets meet high praise. Yes, it's B-Movie Mania. And now, B-Movie Maniacs, here are your hosts, the cream of the crap, the connoisseurs of cult, your cinematic creepy uncles, Paul Brooks, Mike Hayes, Jason Huls, and crazy Chris Hutson.
Hello, everyone. I'm Derek Hutson, and with me, as always, are the B-Movie crew. Say hello, Derek Huls. Derek Hayes.
How?
And Paul Derek Brooks.
Hello, Derek Brooks.
So, how is everyone tonight?
Hold on. So obviously your favorite character is Derek.
Well, come on. Derek, that's your job. Tell me what you thought about Derek and why he's not your favorite character, Mike.
Well, I just thought he was really annoying at first, and then I grew to love him. Just because the first introduction you have to Derek, who is one of the boys, is just him talking, and he's got a real weird voice over a walkie-talkie, and I'm just like, oh, I don't like this character that's coming. This guy that's coming up. I didn't like him, but obviously I grew to love Derek because Derek's fucking amazing.
My favorite character is the guy in the blue shirt.
Oh, yeah, that one.
Quick takes.
Let's do some quick takes, Paul.
Bad Taste is, I think, maybe the greatest DIY low-budget film ever made, honestly.
Yeah, I can totally see that. Jay?
Oh, yeah, I know, I totally agree. I think if you're a filmmaker, it's practically essential viewing. Especially if you can find anything about the behind-the-scenes stuff. It is mind-blowing, the stuff that Peter Jackson was able to pull off with, a very low budget.
Oh, yeah. Mike, what did you think? Obviously, Derek was great.
Probably, I liked Fat Boy Barry. He's running away from the blue shirts, and Fat Boy Barry is a cool dude. I think he holds strong throughout the movie.
He's a great dude. He just has an unbelievable series of bad luck right from the get-go, though.
Oh, yeah. Did I answer that right?
No, Mike, that was weird.
No.
Sorry. I forgot my power cable for the laptop, so I had to go out and get it.
But that was supposed to be your quick take.
Oh no, that's not my quick take. No, my quick take is I love those boys, and that they were able to take on those alien zombies really good, and I had a lot of fun time watching it, especially because there's a bazooka in it.
That makes more sense.
Yeah, that's way better, Mike. Much better job. So Peter Jackson's Bad Taste. Did we say Peter Jackson directed this movie? He's done a few other movies.
He did a couple things on this movie. I don't know if he directed it, though.
He directed it, Mike. And he wrote it. Huh. And he played 2, some people say 3 characters in this movie.
Who are those people who say 3?
Oh, Michael does. Or what's my name? Michael or Derek? Sorry, Derek says it.
Derek Hayes.
Derek Hayes, I think you might be wrong.
That chef looks an awful lot like Peter Jackson, but I don't know.
The chef is Peter Jackson. That's a whole joke in the movie, is that it is the same person. He's confused about it.
I have a phone. I have a smartphone, I want you to know, and I'm looking this up right now.
I'm looking it up. I don't know why I don't have IMDb already up for all my notes. I have a million things for notes.
I've already looked at this on IMDb, and he's just credited as Derek and Richard. Was it Richard?
Robert.
Robert. That's right. Yeah, Robert sounds right.
Fuckers, hold on. Keep talking.
I don't see no... Hold on.
Sorry, so while they're looking this up, Jay, so we see the movie opens in the town of Kaihoro, I guess is what it's called. I don't understand these New Zealand things.
It's a New Zealand thing.
Well, it's fictional.
It's fictional. It's fictional. I read that the name means either fast food or food town.
Basically, yeah.
I really appreciate how the movie just starts right in the middle of this weird happening.
The weird government agent guy with the finger on a stick, he pushing the button, calling for the boys.
Yeah, that's beautifully never been. That was never talked about again or referenced really again.
No,
just that the boys were there, and I loved that the boys were there.
Perhaps I could all be a bit shy. I think this is a job for real men.
In fact, I don't think it's till later we find out that the boys are just members of the Astro Intelligence and Defense Service.
Wait a minute. Astro...
Yeah, that's an acronym for
AIDS. Oh, that's an AIDS joke.
Yes. Peter Jackson is not above the little AIDS joke. I mean, it was the 80s.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It was the 80s. It wasn't time yet to start making AIDS jokes, was it?
Apparently it was. If Gilbert Gottfried can make a 9/11 joke on 9/12, then then I think
He can't, though.
he did.
Yeah, so the boys, they're start out just Derek is off somewhere else and leaving Barry, clearly the more capable of the duo, exploring this town of Kaihoro.
Hey, Chris, by the boys, do you mean literally everyone in this movie?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh, shit, there is not a female, is there?
None.
Huh. You know what? I don't want to get into the spoilers, but maybe they are the freshest. You know, the female, the fairest sex are fresher.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, also, if there were any girls in the boys, then they'd have to come up with another name for it.
That's true.
Wait, also, why am I caring about there being spoilers? We're going to spoil it at the end. Who gives a shit?
This entire podcast is a spoiler.
Yeah, we're not weaving the tale. Maybe the women are the ones that are boxed up in those boxes at the end for the fast food restaurant. How about that?
Hey, Mike, save it for the podcast, please.
I just did.
So, does anyone want to tell me a little about Barry's bad luck in this town? Like, nothing goes right for this poor guy.
Yeah, I mean, he just gets chased by a guy with an axe, right? Like,
which makes a lot of sense later, because at the beginning, these zombies or whatever they are, because you don't know they're aliens yet until about 3 minutes into the movie. They're really clumsy, right? The guy with the axe gets stuck on something, and he's super clumsy, and all the other guys are real dumb. There's a Three Stooges fight scene at some point, but you learn that that's not their real form, kind of a thing, and that maybe they're more comfortable.
It's like a classic, some aliens have a little bit of trouble figuring out how to use their human form, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, Paul put more thought into that than I did. I just thought they were just third-rate workers, and they were just terrible people.
That's why I got to hire a union.
Yeah, no kidding. So, during all this, Derek has captured one of these alien zombie sort of things, and he's tied it up by the feet and is dangling him over a cliff.
He's got jeans and a blue shirt on. Oh, Christ, he's not the bloody farmer. Yeah, but there's something strange about him, though. Like he's got a screw loose or something. It is a bloody farmer. Yeah, Derek strikes again.
The way they shot all that was awesome.
Yeah, because it's the same guy. It's Peter Jackson playing both parts, both Derek and Robert.
It's baffling also how they shot that, because that was his real beard, right? That didn't look like a prosthetic, did it?
No, they shot it months apart.
Yeah.
No, not just months. They shot it. The movie took 4+ years to film. So, that character, is in it throughout the movie. So they've had to have it planned out very, very well, at least thoroughly thought out. And so they shot all this stuff at some point and went, all right, here's the point where you shave this fucking beard.
Yeah, well, I think that's really to Peter Jackson's credit, and obviously with some of the movies that he went on to do later that would require a lot of planning, the way that they shot that scene probably, they had to do it really carefully in order to make it work, and it's virtually seamless. I mean, if you didn't know
beautiful.
that it was both of them, it works really well.
This movie, studying this movie, my feeling has always been, if learning about how Bad Taste was made makes you understand how a guy like Peter Jackson could take a lot of money and make something like Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah. And this is probably, there's more care put into this movie than pretty much anything we've watched this season, I think.
There's a lot of love.
A lot of love, which is why I really think it's one of the best DIY. I think they had something like $25,000, which in the 80s is not a lot. And like Jay said, Peter really figured out how to stretch the dollar. Even a lot of the actual equipment used to make the movie was just built by Peter. Like he had to build a Steadicam and build a dolly, and it's just all coming up with stuff and trying to figure out how to make it work on a shoestring budget.
I wondered where he got all these guns. Like, did he have a friend who like, has an arsenal or something? No, they made all those guns.
Yeah,
they're not,
it's
they're
like
not real
blocks
guns.
of wood.
Yeah, it's crazy, and they look really, really good.
The main house that they are in, he had to build a scale model of that house to be able to do the launching up in the air.
Oh my God,
thing.
yeah,
that's incredible.
That model work at the end was amazing. Like I couldn't tell that was a model, really.
So good.
Well, it could help also that the camera was a 16 millimeter that was 25 years old at the time. So like, it was a shit fuck camera that was great though. I mean, it looked good, but I think it also gave it that feel of it looks like an older movie, kind of, whatever. It had a lot of grain in it. It was good, but it also could help hide up some stuff too.
It's nice to hear that everybody did their homework for this movie. Everybody put in their due diligence for this one, I can tell.
Oh, just wait till we get to Carboy.
Uh-oh.
So, yeah, Derek is torturing himself, Robert, and saves Barry from all the 5 or 6 other zombies that are chasing him. And he gets into a little fight, one at a time, has a little trouble with some clips. He kills all the zombies, gets Robert. I don't want to give you you should watch the movie to get a whole sense of this. But Derek takes a fall. So sad.
Oh,
so
yeah.
Tiny
sad.
tumble.
So Derek dies about 10 minutes into the movie.
Best character of the movie, he's done.
Done. Now, you glossed over one of my favorite things about this movie that I really thought was fantastic, and that was the way it built the world around it, because we talked about that 1 minute long clip with the guy with the prosthetic finger on a stick and a cigarette taped with a Band-Aid to that finger, a bunch of weird shit. At some point, after Barry fights the first zombie, he's talking on the walkie-talkie to Derek, and they just have a little bit of dialogue back and forth, just some off-the-cuff kind of talk, and it sets up exactly of everything that has happened up till now, and that's all you need, and it's fantastic. They say, we have a bunch of extraterrestrial psychopaths on our hands, and it's just, within 2 sentences, we know exactly what's happened, and we'll keep going, let's go. Like, they don't lose a beat, and it's fantastic.
Another little thing I liked was when Barry was being chased around and everyone starts, I think they grab sledgehammers, right? when they go to chase Barry. Except one guy who gets a little hammer.
Yeah.
I just appreciated
There's
that.
a lot of good little jokes in this. There's a lot of cartoon moments, and they fit into the silliness and the earnestness of this movie, which is actually done very well in terms of, a splatter gore movie.
Which brings me to another point. I haven't seen this movie in probably 10 or 15 years. I forgot just how gory and disgusting this was.
Yeah, like when Derek is one of the guys, the aliens, falls on Derek, and so he shoves his Uzi through the body and starts blasting the guys through the corpse.
Also, he mouthed the gun noise every time he shot the gun.
I think today maybe we might not think that Bad Taste is really super over the top in terms of gore. I mean, it is, but in the 80s it was an entirely different thing.
Oh yeah, this thing was banned everywhere.
Exactly, that's what I was just going to say. It caused some problems in Australia. There was a film commission that came up with a cut down version of it to take out some of the gore and the blood. In Queensland, Australia, 3 weeks into its run, it led to the firing and dissolution of the Queensland Film Board of Review in 1990. So the gore and the guts in this thing caused some problems. There's
a rated 18 cut and a rated 12 cut in Germany for this movie. The rated 18 cut is only 10 minutes long.
What?
And the rated 12 version is 6 minutes long.
We got to find those.
Yeah, I would love to see the super. Effectively, that's the first super cut.
All right, did you get that off of Wikipedia, Mike?
Yeah, it's probably bullshit. It's on Wikipedia.
No,
yeah.
I'm looking at it right now, and I'm not trying to discredit you here, but the earlier is cut by approximately 6 minutes. The later by approximately 10 minutes. They cut 10 minutes out. Because I don't know what a 10-minute version of this would look like.
I'd be interested in finding out.
Well,
Yeah.
sorry. Leave that in if you want me to sound like a dummy. I'm fine with that.
Whatever.
That about catches us up to where, Chris, you were talking about how Derek dies in the fall.
Yeah.
When he falls off that cliff, like, that looks amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it's not really him.
Really good, yeah.
Well, no, it's a dummy, but like the
Peter
way they
Jackson
shot it and
took a
everything,
tumble, Paul.
it looked really good.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It really looked much more believable than a lot of other like dummy fall stuff that you see in movies
Right,
and
just
TV.
take a dummy and throw it off a cliff or something. It looked good.
Still not as realistic as the dummy scene in Big Money Rustlers.
Well, nothing will ever beat that.
Nothing will top that.
Close, though. It was close.
That cliff, everything on that cliff, I thought, it looked dangerous.
Oh my gosh.
And
I kept wondering how they filmed this without killing anyone.
right, exactly. So, like, if that's my feeling, I'm impressed by it.
Right.
Yeah.
Hopefully it wasn't really dangerous, but it probably was.
Sometime before this, we did meet the other two boys. You guys know the other two boys, right? You know, Car Boy and Soldier Boy.
Frank and Ozzy.
Yeah, Frank and Ozzy.
Right.
They have this sweet purple car, which is a 1974 Capri, which Frank, or Mike Minette, owned. It was his own personal car. Fun fact, they sold the car about halfway through filming, but the owner did allow them to use the cast and crew to let them borrow it on weekends. And that car was not blown up at the end. It was a Toyota Corolla. That's car fact number 1, guys. Just a heads up. Carfax.
We didn't talk about yet, right, how long this thing took to shoot.
Yeah, we did
No,
a little
yeah.
bit. Like over 4 years.
4 years. So, like, they're dealing with, like, haircuts and wigs and, like, all kinds of stuff. But they made it work.
Here's a weird question. We're enjoying talking a lot about the behind the scenes aspect of this film, which I anticipated would happen because it's as interesting, if not more interesting than the film itself. But watching the movie, does that distract from actually being able to enjoy the movie and watch the movie? Are you so focused on the how did they do this aspect of it that you kind of lose the actual story a little bit, or no?
I don't think people would unless like, for me, I had to know that stuff, and then when I watched it again, maybe, like, I could look at it a different way, but I really don't think people who were just casual viewers would be distracted by the how did they do it kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. No, I agree with that. God damn it.
I'm leaving that in.
Paul, leave that in. So, yeah, so Derek takes his tumble. There's a couple little good gags regarding birds.
Poor Derek. Who's gonna look after his Avery now?
Yeah, birds were the only thing he could relate to.
They show up and it's time to go into the town. Oh, wait, where did this come? Okay, the collector guy. I totally forgot about the collector.
Yeah, don't forget the collector, Giles.
Yeah. So this guy, what is he doing there? I kind of gotta...
He's a collector.
I know they explained it, but what the fuck is he collecting? Like,
They
people
didn't explain it.
leaving him change on their doors or some
He
shit.
works
like, what the hell?
for, I think he works for the government. He's a charity collector. And so he's just going door to door, kind of trying to collect money for charity, either through the government or for like an agency or something.
Yeah, so he gets stuck in the middle of this town.
And he gets chased by Peter Jackson, right, as Robert?
Alien Jackson, yeah.
That's a long chase scene, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I remember
And Alien
correctly.
Jackson was one, like, he's very nimble.
Yeah.
He runs into Alien Jackson while Alien Jackson is eating the brains of another one of his dead aliens. Like, it's not even a human. It's not a dead human. It's a dead alien.
Yeah.
Alien Jackson don't care.
Well, they are alien bastards. You can't excuse their behavior.
This is true.
And doesn't he, like, he eventually gets to his car, and Alien Jackson sticks his arm in the window, and it starts driving away, and his hand comes off, right?
Did it?
Like, doesn't his...
No, I thought he pulled his hand out.
It doesn't come off. It comes out of
Did
the
he pull
window.
it loose?
Yeah, he pulls his hand
Pulls
out.
it loose.
Hey,
Yeah.
Jay, I'm starting to get the impression that you watched this movie a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Would you guys like to know a little bit about that car?
Oh,
Hey,
boy.
let's have us some car facts.
Carfax. I got a car fact number 2. That's a 1957 Morris Minor 1000. The interesting fact about this car is that Peter Jackson's obsession started with these cars, and they are in most of his other movies. That's in Brain Dead or Dead Alive, whatever you want to call it, as
Meet
well
the Feebles.
as Meet the Feebles. It's in that as well. And it's just kind of a fun little fact. So that's car fact number 2.
Don't forget the one you see on the streets of Hobbiton in the Fellowship of the Ring. And Return
Yeah,
of the
there's
King
that one too.
when they go back.
Gandalf blows a smoke of a Morris minor as well.
Oh, that was on purpose. I always thought that was a movie mistake, but Peter Jackson, he's always thinking.
He's getting that shit in there. It's like,
Hey, Mike?
I gotta, yes.
Can you just say Carfax?
Yeah. Carfax.
Cool, thank you. I'll probably end up doing a Prince of Magic thing with that.
Prince of Magic.
Shit, now I gotta put Prince of Magic in there.
Prince of Magic.
Shit! Alright, just... Stop saying it.
Is that a callback to just a few episodes ago with the killing of Satan and
It might
the
be.
Prince of Magic? Prince of Magic.
God damn it.
Just doing my best here. So, so eventually the collector, Giles, I thought it was Giles. I don't know. Is this another fungicide thing?
Oh god, let's not get into
Hard
that.
G, soft G.
Fucking shit.
I don't care.
Let's call him Fun Giles.
No. Oh, God.
So he gets captured and stuck in a big old pot of... What, Paul? What is he tossed into?
Well, it's like a pot of water with some apples and seasoning in it, almost as if someone is planning on eating them.
If you take some water and some spices and Fun Giles, baby, you got a stew going.
I suppose while you're wondering why you're soaking here in Reg's 11 secret herbs and spices.
Tomorrow we're having you for lunch.
It's Reg's 11 secret herbs and spices, which is a reference to KFC. Now, here comes a next fact for you guys. Let's do this fun game of what are the 11 herbs and spices in KFC? Go.
Oh, is this a car fact?
Carfax. No, this is a KFC fact. KFC facts.
Okay. Mike, can you say KFC facts?
Yeah, here's a fun... KFC facts. Guys, I just want you to know that at KFC, a copy of the recipe signed by Sanders is held inside a safe inside a vault in KFC's Louisville headquarters, along with 11 vials containing the herbs and
Wait,
spices.
What the hell does this have to do with the movie?
The fact that they're putting him in a vat of Reg's 11 secret herbs and spices, which is a direct reference to KFC.
All right, so is there a question that we're supposed to answer?
Well, no, it's just I was asking you guys to name all 11
Mike
secret
just
herbs and
wants to
spices.
totally derail the discussion. That's what he's up to. He's
What
all
else
like,
is new?
Wink, let's hurry along to some more car
forget
facts.
it. It's fine. I just like, it's just there's so many fast food references in this movie. It's just a fun little game.
And that Mike just gave a little hint as to the alien bastard's plan.
Yeah, well, so did Lord Crumb. He said it right there.
Right there.
He said we're having you for lunch tomorrow.
By the way, I also had to turn on the subtitles for this movie. I had it on for maybe 15 minutes. I'm like, I have no idea. So it does help a lot to have the subtitles on for this one.
All my notes are just very like, he did this, then he did that.
Yeah, I turned them on
It's
because I
not
wanted to
any
write down
quotes.
stuff word for word. There's some great lines in this thing.
Oh,
Right,
yeah, amazing lines.
Did anyone watch this movie recently?
Yeah, I watched it just before we started.
Watch
I
it.
watched it before, a long time
Watched
ago.
it a couple
There's
days
a
ago.
meeting. We find out when Lord Crumb gives a whole speech about the fast food chain and, Crumb's Crunchy Delights organization and all that kind of shit. That's when we find that out.
Right, but that's after Derek headbutts a dove on a beach, right?
Yeah, yes. Right after this is where we find out that Derek is not dead.
He's not dead,
But
and
he's got a little head problem.
The back of his head fell open, and he has to, put his brain back in, and he puts a piece of the dove's brain in his head.
Here's the thing. Here's one of my. Okay, we're all glowing about the movie, how great this movie is, and how much thought Peter Jackson put into it. But this is, if I've got any complaints, it's that Peter Jackson didn't really put a lot of thought in or research or anything about how brains actually work. Because Derek takes a little bit of that dove's brain and shoves it back inside and closes his head. That's not going to help him with his brain damage.
If I can share my literal flow of consciousness notes on this part of the thing, it says, Dr. Boy is alive, but still a hole in his head? Why? Don't care. Love it. This is a cartoon.
Oh, yeah, totally a cartoon.
Chris, apologies if bad taste didn't live up to the realism of something like Doctor Who.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's my only complaint is that the brain stuff just was not realistic. I mean, later he puts in some of the bastard brain in his head too, and suddenly he gets knowledge on how to fly a house spaceship.
I actually didn't realize that. Is everyone in agreement that was like a little bit of seagull brain? Because I thought that was part of his brain that had hit the rock.
Of his brain.
I thought it was part of his brain too.
Maybe it was.
But it could have been seagull brain. Now, after what happens later when he puts just other different brains in his head, it could be a seagull brain. I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, a seagull brain is like the size of like a pea.
Yeah, but Paul, it's not like this movie is scientifically accurate. Talk to Hutson about it.
All right, whatever. He put some sort of brain back into his head, and I thought it was one of the best parts of the movie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was very good.
So next up, the boys. They arrive at the mansion, ready to save the collector.
Well, they're right outside the mansion. We're talking about right outside the mansion.
Yeah, let's
please.
talk about right outside the mansion. Oh yeah, we got to talk about getting their guns and what's in the box.
Yeah.
I just wish we didn't have to wear all this crap.
Yeah, but you know what the rules are. When we work undercover, we have to remain faceless. Oh, I get it. Just in case we kill a lot of innocent people.
And then Barry says, this is why I had captions on. This is what Barry says. Barry says, Barry says, hey, I'm authorized to use violence as a threat on planet Earth. And then someone else shouts at him, and the moon.
I love
Boy
that.
humor.
I also
That's great.
Okay, I have in my notes here for this part too. After they put on the disguises and everything, Ozzy says something to the effect that the aliens may have come in a telephone box.
Oh, the Doctor Who reference.
The Doctor Who reference.
The Doctor Who reference, right?
Yeah.
Chris,
Yeah.
Chris, I thought you'd be all over
Oh
that.
yeah. Oh, I wrote that on my notes.
Good. That's
Totally
why I wanted to
forgot
jump
about
back to this as well. Because, there might be aliens, a pack of alien spaceships around here. And then, Dumbo's like, they might have come in a telephone box.
Was Doctor Who on that long ago?
No, Paul. I think Doctor Who starts next year with a woman.
Oh, God, what's next on the feminist agenda?
Next, we'll have a female starship captain on Star Trek.
Hey, do you guys remember the boys' motto?
No.
When they get ready to go, they're like, they leave this scene to go into the house, and they have a motto they all chant together.
No, what is it?
I'll just say it. The bastards have landed.
Oh, that's right.
They all just simultaneously say that.
Man, I really should have put on the subtitles.
Yeah, so now, the boys, Paul, the boys, arrive at the mansion, ready to sneak in and find Giles, the collector, whatever his name is.
Fun Giles.
And, now, let's see. Did they find him before or after the plan? Because I remember they went into this room,
After.
and fucking Barry decides to... They find out what happened to the townspeople, for one. And there's blood all over the floor, so Barry just decides...
It's a mess.
What a mess. It's time to mop it up. He just starts cleaning the house.
That's very nice of him.
And then one of the aliens, one of the bastards, comes in with a big glass bowl for no reason, and they chop his head off or some shit. I don't remember exactly.
They pull his head off, right?
Yeah.
Don't they kick it out a window or something?
Ozzy punts it out the window.
Which is great because up till this point, the boys have all been like kind of goofy, right? Like they've stayed alive. Well, Derek didn't die, I guess technically, but they've been kind of silly, right? But at this point, they pull off this little like stunt pretty well.
Yeah, they're pretty capable.
Get the guy. Yeah, and they're a bit messy, maybe, but they're very good.
Oh yeah, a bit messy.
I was happy. Because they make a mess while killing the guy again because they pull his head off. And then Barry's just like, hey, I just mopped that. And continues mopping again.
But it allows, is it Barry? It allows one of them, I can't remember which one, to then take that alien's clothes, blue shirt and everything, and go undercover.
Frank, Carboy.
Frank.
And this is about the point where we find out where that... Crumb's Crunchy Delights is the evil fast food company, and they want a slaughter permit so they can come back and get more humans. And it kind of like this is the point right where they kind of lay out what's really going on.
It's also probably the grossest scene to me in the entire movie.
The Chuck?
Yeah, it's
the
pretty
Chuck.
gross.
Puking?
Yep. The chalk.
And then the subsequent consumption of puke. Even if it looks just like thinned out like 1950s grandma jello, it's still gross.
Yeah, it looks pretty bad.
Okay, I did love this part where they're passing the bowl of puke around, and because Frank is in there in his blue shirt, he's forced to drink it.
Yeah,
but then like you can tell by his reaction that he likes it, and then Ozzy
He takes a second sip. He takes a second sip.
Ozzy's like watching him and smiling at it because he's doing
Ozzy's giggling about it.
And actually, that reminds me, Mike, this episode is sponsored by Crumb's Crunchy Delights.
Crumb's Crunchy Delights is a proud sponsor of B-Movie Mania. Our secret is in Reg's 11 herbs and spices, and ingredients so fresh, you'll swear they were harvested from your very own planet.
Hey guys, you know how Crumb's Crunchy Delights has always been great? Well, if you use offer code BManiacs on their website, if you go to ccdo.com/BMovieManiacs,
I don't think any of this is real.
You can use the code. No, this is guys. This is our first sponsor.
If there were a lot fewer uhs and ums. And
Well, it sounds like every Rick and Morty commercial on that entire show.
I'm reading it exactly as it's stated. No, but Crumb's Crunchy Delights organization is not this. It's actually the Brazilian metal band who has sponsored us for this episode so they can promote their album. The band is Flesh Grinder. The album is called Crumb's Crunchy Delights Organization, in which you can find 16 tracks based on the entire film of this.
I don't think any of this is real.
I think this one might be real. Yeah.
What's amazing is Paul saying that is in the commercial copy.
Fuck. I have headphones on. I just tried to play one of the metal songs on my computer and it just blasted into my fucking ear. Damn it.
Where, we got just a bunch of third-rate B-movie maniacs.
Sorry, guys.
So there's a really funny line that happens right here where Frank gets done, kind of having to pretend that he's an alien, and he gets back with the rest of the group. And is it Ozzy who says,
did you have to drink some chuck?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, because he's the one that saw him, yeah.
Yeah.
That's when I was glad that I turned the subtitles on.
Then they free the guy. This is the part where they free him from the barrel, right?
Yeah, they free him.
Okay. Right, and so they're going to escape and everything. And I was just curious because this is about where the big shootout starts, right?
Yeah, all hell breaks loose.
Well, first we've got to talk about Derek's car.
We can talk about if there's another car fact.
Yeah, I do have a car fact. Car facts. It's a 1961 Thames 5 Cenowatt van wheelchair converted 307E. This is a car that normally doesn't have that tall part, but it was converted for use by someone in a wheelchair. It's actually very difficult to find information about this car, but someone has on this car website that I found. It is the conversion was usually done with fiberglass added to the top, and they had some big metal doors that were a vertical split on the back, which is very unique, but that makes sense and goes in line with the wheelchair conversion.
Thank you.
Oh, and also the Beatles were driving it.
All of the Beatles.
Sergeant Pepper's entire entourage was driving this car.
Did they get royalties for this?
Who knows?
I bet you George Harrison was funding. He secretly funded some of it.
Yeah, this is what actually killed George Harrison.
Oh, too soon.
It took a while, apparently, then.
He finally saw this. He saw it on video. It finally came out. It was released unedited in Britain.
Hey, Harrison funded a bunch of shitty movies. He did all right. He funded a bunch of stuff.
All right, so Beatles car, and now we're back to the gunfight in the mansion.
I hope for that entire section, like the entire... I mean, what is it, like 20 minutes or something? It's a long,
yeah, it is.
complex
Maybe
fight.
Almost a little too long.
Yeah, I hope in the script it just says they fight.
Yeah. Can I tell you guys my next note in this is not anything to do with that fight scene. It just says, the aliens' butts are hanging out.
Yes, the aliens, they transform into their true form, and for some reason they got some kicking glutes.
Those glutes are popping out of those pants.
Does anybody have little fun fact about the alien masks in front of them?
Oh no, I don't. I didn't even look. I didn't see this even.
Peter Jackson had to bake the masks in his mother's oven.
Correct.
And they didn't quite fit, which is why they've got that kind of weird shape.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty incredible the fact that he wrote this, directed it, acted in multiple roles, did a lot of the editing, I believe, and did a lot of the special effects, which were inspired by Tom Savini. So it's pretty impressive.
Did anyone see what his background on that? Did he have any sort of education or what his interest was in learning about special effects like this? Because you can't just look up online in 1983 how to do this.
No, I think, I watched a little bit of a documentary about the making of this movie, which was pretty good. The portion that I watched, I would recommend checking it out. It's called Good Taste Made Bad Taste. And it was a documentary that came out a pretty long time ago. I mean, Peter Jackson still looks very young. He's in New Zealand talking about the making of the film. And his parents are also interviewed for the film, and they talk about how he was just always very comfortable being in front of a camera and being around a camera. So I think he's the type of filmmaker that probably it was kind of a lifelong thing from the time he was a very young kid where he started working on this sort of thing and honing his craft over time.
Yeah, I watched that too. It's called The Goldbergs. Is that a joke that no one in this podcast gets? Okay, never mind.
Is that a car fact?
Car facts. Nope.
Should be.
That was Mike's modern TV fact. Mike's modern TV fact.
Okay.
But yeah, let's talk about the makeup or the monster costumes. First of all, Paul, do you think the aliens were wearing thongs or that their butts were just too big to fit in those human pants?
Yeah, the impression that I got is that the glutes were just so rocking that it's kind of...
They could not be contained.
Yeah, almost Incredible Hulk-esque, where they're just busting out of those things.
I think the shoulders were popping out, though, because they just had bad posture, though.
Right,
they did have bad posture.
Great glutes, bad posture.
One thing I loved about the costumes is that they were so good. They could have, like most movies, the costumes are so bad. You just like Night Beast, okay? Not a great mask. You want to save that for just
come
little
on
shots
now.
here
Night
and
Beast
there.
had a pretty sweet mask.
Oh, he did. But okay, well, in general, low budget movies, you don't see much of the aliens. But these guys could have been all through the entire movie, and it would have been totally believable.
Yeah, it was really fun.
Yeah. Although, I have another bone to pick here. Those aliens, they really should have hooked up with Night Beast because they're using human weapons.
Yeah, if they had Night Beast guns, those would have been over.
You're so into science, Chris. You're like, oh, well, these alternate dimensions could have bounced against each other. Hey. There's infinite worlds, so obviously in some universe they all exist together.
Well, yeah. Well, hey, come on. It's an infinite universe out there. Aliens are cruising by. They're a little hungry. They get hit by space rocks. They crash on Earth all the goddamn time.
Yeah, I know who Hugh Oliver Everett is. It's cool.
A lot of those aliens were actually played by some of the main characters in the film, doubling as some of the aliens.
Yeah, like the chef was Peter Jackson.
No.
Reg. He had 11 secret herbs and spices.
How would Peter Jackson suddenly gain 6 inches and put on 300 pounds?
No, the chef. Oh my God! I swear to you. Okay, guys.
Hey, Mike, I've got a beard too. Do I look like Peter Jackson?
God, fuck you. I'm posting a scream cap on this fucking post for this episode. Whether it's real or not, we'll see who's right or wrong.
All right, you screenshot that for us.
So I got to say, my favorite part of the gunfight was when one of the boys, I forget which one, just shoots randomly at a tree, and then nothing happens until the aliens start falling out, one by one. Like 15 of these guys fall out of the tree.
Pretty good.
Well, yeah, they're getting chased away. They're about to run away, though, right?
Oh, that's right.
They were going to escape.
They were going to escape. I forgot about the car scene, which was also one of my favorite parts, because they leave the car. And then the aliens catch up. They pretend to drive the car.
Right?
Yeah. And don't the aliens turn? They turn on the car, they turn on the radio, and the rock music starts playing, and it hurts their ears.
There's some sweet metal music that plays. It's very good.
Ozzy shoots the whole thing with a rocket.
Well, no, excuse you. It is a bazooka.
Oh, Mike, come on. That's an RPG.
Go fuck yourself,
If you're going to
Chris.
correct someone, at least be correct.
I am correct. It's a bazooka. Anything like that in a movie is called a bazooka, especially if it's in the 80s. It's a fact. It's an 80s fact. They're all bazookas.
It's an RPG.
I have a hard standing stance on this, and Paul Brooks knows it.
I do.
I'm pretty sure you've actually said that before.
I have. It's a fucking fact. Anything in the 80s that's a rocket propelled grenade is a bazooka.
we should make a poll. Let's put a poll up for that.
We're gonna have a bunch of voting. They're gonna vote on if it's Reg and is Peter Jackson too.
So head on over to Twitter right now at BMM Podcast and vote. It's a very serious matter.
Sorry. So he shoots the bazooka.
They blew
and
the
it
shit
blows
out of
up
that
Carboy's car.
Yeah.
Which was only a Toyota Corolla. That's a Carfax. Carfax. It was not the real car. It was a Toyota Corolla they blew up instead of the actual Ford Capri.
And when they blow up the car, don't the aliens think it's the heroes dying,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then Ozzy, though, it's Ozzy with the bazooka, and he takes his last bazooka shot
RPG.
Oh, man.
and heads back
fucking murder you,
to the
Chris.
house.
I don't think the term RPG even existed in 1989.
No, it didn't. It was just a bazooka. Jesus.
All
I
right.
know you were in Army, Chris, but you weren't in Army in 1987 or 83.
Close.
Close enough.
Oh, was
Close
it?
enough.
Oh, damn it. We don't need to research this. Continue. The boys are
No,
back at the
we're
house.
researching it. Here we go. Here we go, Mike.
The boys are back at the house.
We're researching it.
Oh, by the way, when they get back to the house, at this point in this movie, I started writing down the subtitles of the music that it keeps telling us. Paul, did you notice this, the subtitles, the description of the music that kept happening?
Yeah, but I can't remember what it said, but it was great.
It was so good. I started writing them down. At this point, when they get back to the house, it says, with driving electro-rock music.
Yeah. Very descriptive.
It's really good.
Well, Chris, what'd you find?
Oh, you got to click that link. The RPG. Pictures of them.
What?
Jay,
Are we really going
for
to...
good measure, there's also a wall
I'm not
rocket.
buying into this.
Hey,
I'm
I
not.
So let's move right along. So they're going to go blow the shit out of the house, but Derek's already there, and in his own box, in his Beatles car, he digs out a chainsaw, and he's cutting up bastards left and right. And in another great gag, he cuts his way into the house, but he cuts out his outline in the wall.
Yeah.
And just walks through with a chainsaw.
He also, puts alien brains in his head.
Yeah, at some point he does, yeah.
Yeah. Chris, when he comes into the house, my note says this. Okay, Doc Boy's just a cartoon character. He just Roger Rabbited his fucking self into the house.
It's a pretty good description.
It's like, because the rest of this world is fairly realistic, but he is just, like, he's a Roger Rabbit in the regular world.
And it's great. And it totally works.
It's fantastic.
Which really comes into play later when they shoot the RPG, or Mike's bazooka.
They shoot the bazooka, and the first time
Thank
it's a very unfortunate accident.
Yeah.
When they shoot at the house.
Oh, it is.
Because it goes through the house and blows up a sheep.
Oh, yeah,
sheep.
yeah.
I don't know if you guys read this or not, but apparently that sheep was supposed to have a much bigger role in the film and was supposed to be like terrorizing them throughout the film, and then it gets blown up and kind of gets what it deserves. But all that got cut out, and it's just the sheep at the end getting blown up.
Sheep dying.
And that was Paul's Sheep Facts.
Yes. I'm not doing a little audio bit for that, though.
Sheep Facts.
There, you got,
Thank
but
you.
exactly what they did, overlapped.
No.
Yes.
God damn it, I will.
Sheep Facts. Yeah, so we're coming up to the end now. They totally missed the rocket, goes right through the holes in the house. And so Lord Crumb decides it's time to get the hell out of here.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Chris, but do you know what music was playing when they shot the sheep?
Was it more driving rock music?
Well, it was driving and rhythmic electro-rock music.
Electro rock music. So this house is about to take off.
Yeah, I like how all the grounds and everything start to roll up under the house.
It's amazing because there's no point to it. Like, why would you lay out fake lawn over actual lawn? There's grass underneath.
Yeah.
It's a really
But
good
everything
gag.
starts rolling up.
Lord Crumb is very particular about his landscaping.
But just in terms of the effects, and I have no idea how they did that, but all of it looked great.
It looked amazing.
Well, Chris, we kind of glossed over the fact what you said the house is about to take off, and listener, do know the house is about to take off like a rocket ship because it is a rocket ship.
The house itself is a rocket ship,
and there's only Lord Crumb is alive. Everyone else has been slaughtered by bullets, bazookas, or chainsaws.
Yeah, over the course of like 20 minutes and really long,
Took a long time.
gunfights.
Yes.
So we're about ready to see Derek's rebirth.
Is this when the back of his head pops open again accidentally?
At some
Yeah, I
point,
think this-
his
yeah.
head popped open at some point. We did miss this, and his head pops open, and he falls down on the ground, and he's freaking out. So he takes his belt off and ties his belt around his head like it's a Rambo belt or a Rambo bandana.
Right.
And so then he's throughout the rest of the movie like that. But what you're talking about, Paul, is at the end here. He sees alien brains on the ground, undoes his belt, opens his head, and puts more inside of it.
Why not?
Hey, the more the merrier.
But he's like stuffing it into his head. It is like overflowing.
There's not enough room.
And it's also disgusting.
Yeah.
It's pretty great.
Speaking of disgusting, Chris, go ahead and tell us about that rebirth you mentioned.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. So
boy.
Derek is just ready. He's ready. He finds out. He looks out the goddamn window, and sees the Earth and realizes he's in space. So he's just there. They kind of do a little reversal here of like the typical horror movie thing, where now the monster is afraid of the human.
The hunter is hunted.
Yeah, because Derek's just insane right now. Even the boys ran from Derek when they saw him going all crazy.
A real Terminator 2 situation.
Yeah, oh yeah. So Derek, he finds Lord Crumb, and he chainsaws his way through his body from the top down.
Suck my spinning steel, shithead!
And he dives head first.
Right into Lord Crumb's head.
chainsaw first.
Chainsaw first.
Chainsaw first,
He
yeah.
cuts his way all the way through, and comes out of whatever Lord Crumb's orifice is in between those
Down
massive
below.
glutes.
His ass.
His ass.
Yeah, well, you would know for sure, Chris, if it was his vagina or not, because in the captions it does say he looks directly at the camera and says, "I've been born again."
I'm born again.
Well, doesn't he puts on the alien skin too, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. At the end, he puts Lord Crumb's.
He's
skin
coming
back
at those
on.
bastards.
Yeah, he's going in undercover.
Yeah. Can I pose a question to you guys?
Sure.
Well, it's happening. Thank you, Chris. So there's a bit of a controversy in the UFO alien extraterrestrial life debate that goes on about why would every alien be humanoid in shape or bipedal, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I understand that, but I feel this movie made a real good statement about how all houses in the universe all do look the same. Because apparently their rocket ship is the shape of a normal Earth house, and I thought that was very odd. But I really like the idea of that just being all of their rocket ships look like Victorian homes.
Well, is there any chance that they built that house and the rocket after they had gotten to Earth and somehow like arrived on a different ship?
Maybe that could be the case. Though, okay, I'm sorry. You're probably right, Paul. Scientifically, that probably makes sense. But here's something I really liked. They mentioned near the first time we meet the aliens, they're talking about how they're ready to go home. They're almost done, but they've only pillaged a very small town in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Like there's a joke in the movie about how they might go to a bigger town or whatever. So they've obviously only been to this tiny town. And that was enough. They're out. They're ready to go.
They did talk about needing a permit, though. Was it the
they?
rival Was it the rival needed a permit, or did they need their permit to come back and get more people? I think was the thing.
No, this is smart then. You're right. Because that means they're not going to wipe out an entire planet.
Right.
They're going to keep
They were there.
Yeah.
They wanted to get people hooked. They wanted to get the aliens hooked on the human food.
Yeah. It's
get
just,
a permit,
Or just getting a
come
sample.
back and clean out Earth.
It's sustainability is what it is. That's what they're talking about. Sustainability, guys.
Yeah, there's a real sustainability message in this movie.
Yeah, there's only 4 billion people on the planet. They don't want to take them all out at once.
This is the original Okja, but the opposite.
Yeah, this was the first one's free, but then you got to pay. This town was the sample.
Right,
Yeah.
in a little paper cup.
This is that little
Right.
first slice of pizza.
Mm-hmm.
And then, the boys sort of just ride off into the sunset, right?
Yeah,
Literally.
Yeah. In that wheelchair converted car,
And the Beatles.
and with all 4 of the Beatles.
Yeah.
Can I pose another question?
Oh boy.
I guess.
What do you guys think Derek's doing right now?
He's chopping up some bastards.
You think he made it?
I think he made it.
I think he did.
You talking about Derek
Paul?
or Peter Jackson?
Well,
I'm talking. But how about both? Let's get real meta with this. Paul, what do you think Derek's doing? But also, what do you think Peter Jackson's doing right now?
I think Peter Jackson is probably watching the 2005 King Kong film that he did and listening to his own director's commentary.
I think Peter Jackson is listening to our Night Beast episode right now.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess, there is some room for a Bad Taste 2. There is something that you could do with it. I wonder if it has ever been discussed.
Well, getting into that's what I think Peter Jackson is doing right now. Working on he's worked on it for 20 years, but he will soon make Bad Taste 2.
Badder Taste.
Man, that would be amazing if he's done like Lord of the Rings and King Kong and all this stuff. And now, he just goes back to New Zealand and, busts out the 16mm and does Bad Taste, too.
Literally, I was thinking this. If he did it, if he said, all right, obviously I'm a very accomplished and acclaimed film director. Here's whatever, maybe the inflation for $25,000 is. What if you took that and then said, here's the old camera, or an equivalent, right? A 25-year-old camera. And just gave himself the exact same limitations and just did it. It would be fucking amazing.
It's like the 5 obstructions type of thing.
Yeah, the fucking Danish, Scandinavian Dogma 85 or whatever it's called.
But people would
95.
watch.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And it could be, if he did it with that spirit, I bet you he could do it very well. He obviously has a sick sense of humor and an appreciation of, this kind of B-movie garbage shit. And, obviously, it would be great, I bet.
Hey, and all you got to do really to sell that is slap from the director of Lord of the Rings, and you've made your money back easy.
Not Meet the Feebles? They didn't do that one?
For some reason, no.
Huh, interesting.
Hey, that was almost my pick, but I couldn't find a streaming copy.
Oh, well, I'm glad it was this.
Oh.
God damn that movie.
God, that movie is so gross.
Rating time.
Let's, why don't we rate these from 1 to 100 Derek brain pieces? Right, Jay?
Well, okay. Like I said, I think this is, it's got a lot of history for people who want to make movies. There's a lot to be studied. It was enjoyable. It's always enjoyable to watch, and to think about how they did all this. So, I'm pretty high on it. I'm going to say 87.
All right.
Derek brain pieces.
Derek Hayes?
Derek Hayes here. Also very much enjoyed this movie. It's perfectly low budget with high praise from me. And so I am going to rate it for the year that it was released in the United States, which is 1,989 points.
No, you can't do that.
That's
okay,
that
fine.
breaks
89,
the scale.
89 points.
Oh, okay.
Sorry, not points. 89 Derek brain pieces.
Yeah, that's all right. Paul.
I mean, what can you say? It's such a fun movie to watch. It's such a fun movie to talk about and learn about all the behind the scenes of how they made it. It's great. A couple real nitpicky things I mentioned earlier. There's no females in the movie. I thought that was just so weird. I mean, you do not see any girls in the movie. It's a very strange thing. And then there was just a couple parts that I thought maybe dragged on just a little long, but again, very nitpicky. I am going to give it 79, but I'm going to stray from the pack a little bit if you don't mind, Chris. I'm going to throw it back and do 79 Peaceways.
Oh, wow. Well, back to the Peaceways.
Why not? We said the first episode that we can always do Peaceways.
That's true.
I forgot. That's true.
Wow.
Yeah. Deep cut.
All right. I agree with you guys, though. I think a lot of care was put into this movie. Despite the low budget, it looks great. The effects were great. The costumes were really great. A lot of humor, a lot of great gags. Pretty basic story. Like I said, I've got a couple nitpicks, is that brains don't work the way Peter Jackson thinks they work. But hey, you can't have everything. Gotta have something to complain about. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one 85 Derek brain pieces.
All right. Sweet.
So I think that just about wraps this up.
Can I get maybe one more car fact?
No, but I've got lyrics from the song Watch Out, Here Comes Derek from the Brazilian metal band Flesh Grinders album Crumbs Crunchy Delights Organization.
I guess that'll... you know what? I'm just going to put in the car fact sound anyway, and then you can read that.
Okay. Carfax. With the glasses filthy of blood, cerebral mass escapes from a broken cranium. Total fury of AIDS is just one person. The weird face is only deceptive. Chainsaw in hands. In the time of vengeance, he goes screaming on his way to open aliens' bellies to see the guts pull out. The horror just began. The driller killer of human flesh eaters. I'm coming to get you bastards, so watch out. Here comes Derek.
On the next episode of B-Movie Mania...
This is it, guys. The season finale of B-Movie Mania. And we are going to do a little bit of a tribute episode, actually. Very sadly, we just lost George Romero, one of my favorite horror movie directors. And so we're going to take a look at maybe one of his lesser-known works. The masters of modern horror, George Romero and Dario Argento, bring you an unprecedented pair of shockers inspired by the tales of Edgar Allan Poe.
What?
Adrian Barbeau and Harvey Keitel star in Two Evil Eyes. It's on Amazon Prime.
Really? I've never even heard of it.
Interesting.
Holy
Nice,
shit.
yeah.
So, guys, I think we're going to need a little bit of help on this one. We're bringing in our buddies Dave Jetter and Gail Murren from Jet Theory Radio to help us out on the season finale.
Oh, hell yes.
Jet Theory Radio is a podcast, so we're doing a little bit of a crossover episode. It's a big, spectacular blowout episode for the season finale of B-Movie Mania, so make sure you tune in.
I'm going to ask them why they didn't call it Jet Theory Podcast.
Yeah, you should do that.
I'm going to do that.
Listen up, maniacs. Do you have a question or a comment? Would you like to send some bourbon to Uncle Lloydie? You can contact the gang on Facebook at B-Movie Mania. You can also drop them a line at bmoviemania.com. Reach out. Touch them. They're touching themselves. And they might just reach back. I'm Lloyd Kaufman saying, see you next time on B-Movie Mania. Woohoo!
Call the boys down to Crumbs Crunchy Delights to order off our buy one, get eaten free menu. Crumbs Crunchy Delights, appendage licking good.
Why don't you give us a 5-star review? Because you know you love it. And enjoy our podcast. Subscribe. We're on YouTube now. I think that's where I am right now. YouTube? Yes, YouTube. Subscribe. Give us a great review. And we would love your input. So give us a call sometime.
You still have 2 seconds?
You have 15 seconds.
Oh, shit.